In this video, I'm going to show you how to make cool stereograms like this one using Open Stereogram. So to make a stereogram, you need a texture pattern and a depth map. So basically, you input a depth map and a texture, and it will process and output a stereogram. So this is the default settings here for the Open Stereogram software, which you can download from the internet here. I'll put a link in the description for that. So basically, you're just gonna click for a depth map, and the software comes with a bunch of default ones like Teapot, Classic, and you can choose a texture as well. They have all these random patterns, and you can generate and get a stereogram. So it's as simple as that. Pretty straightforward from that standpoint. If you just want to play around with like the default ones, obviously they're going to work pretty well. That's why they're the default examples. If you want to make your own, then you're going to want to find your own depth maps on the internet. But you'll probably get bored of that pretty fast. And if you want to make your own depth maps, you can do that in Blender. I just followed a tutorial on YouTube that explains how to do it with like the nodes, but you don't need to do any of that because I provided this on Sketchfab. So you can just download the Blender file and open that up in Blender, and it'll give you this. And then if you add your own object, for the example of this video, I'm going to use this cool, cute little shark. So you could download this. I typically download GLTF or GLB, whichever one's smaller. In this case, I downloaded GLTF. It'll open it as a zip file. You'll then unzip that and import it. Import. And whatever object file type you did, you have to click that. So like GLB. STL is common too for 3D printing stuff. You can get a lot of cool stuff online for that. So GLTF, and then here it is. All right, and then we'll just position this in the scene. And then I'm gonna look through the camera view to get an idea here. Nice. I'm not gonna go through all the the Blender tutorial stuff. There are a lot of good videos on the basics of just moving things around in Blender, and it's not that hard. G key, S key, stuff like that for moving and scaling. So I'm just gonna move this to a spot that looks good. That looks pretty good. And you'll notice there's this little hole in the background, and that's to reveal this far away object. There's a far away ball and a close up ball, and I found that those actually affect the depth. So if you don't have physical objects in your scene that are at as close to the camera as can be and as far as can be for your clip planes, then it won't render with like the right color gradient. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Anyway, so here we go. We get our depth map, and then I'm going to save that. Make a new folder. Computer's being a little slow. I'll say 0 shark. And then I usually save it as a JPEG, but PNG works too. PNG is just going to be a lot bigger. Also, this is like a pretty huge image. It's 2351 by 1514. So it's, I mean, it's not like crazy big, but bigger than 1080p. All right, so now we'll go back to this, and I'm going to find the depth map that I just made. Go to my files, 0 shark, where are you? Okay, sweet. And now we can just generate with a default one, and we get a shark. and it's pretty good. You will notice if you were to look at this in higher fidelity, like zoomed in, since it's only 800 by 600, it's not going to be super high quality, and it actually kind of looks like stacked plates instead of an actual 3D model. So I typically jack this up to the resolution of my depth map, which is a lot higher. And then if you were to generate this, you can see that. Unfortunately, there's no way to like zoom this window that I've found. Oh, wait. Oh, damn, sorry. Yeah, there's no way to like move around in the screen. So it can be a little, I typically just look at it in Paint. So the texture pattern, we can also change this. That looked a little bit flat. If we change this to about 1/10 of the width, I find you get the best results. You get a much deeper looking stereogram. So that's my advice there. Yeah, and then for texture patterns, you can just pick whatever you like. I had some cool ones that I took today with my phone. So let's see, open Paint. This one was cool. It's like a picture of a soldered electronics circuit board or something. So I will save this to Shark. And then in here, I'm going to grab that texture. Okay, so the texture is too zoomed in. So to fix that, I'm going to resize this to be like 25% of the actual size, and then save that. And now if we generate it, it looks better. So you want a texture that has a good amount of noise in it, so that it'll, look nice. And this looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save that to Shark. And let's take a look at that. Boom. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So that's how you make stereograms using Open Stereogram. And then I bring it into Photomosh. Photomosh is, last I checked, it was free online, but there's a version you can buy if you want to use all the features. So I bought that for like $50 several years ago. But yeah, you can like mess around. Doing like edges looks pretty good a lot of times. It can sometimes hide some of the artifacts in the image. And then color correction. I spend way too much time just playing around with these, but it's really cool. And glow is a good one. Sometimes it's nice to like turn the brightness down and jack up the glow a little bit. I don't know. Or, I mean, they look good just as they are. But anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, oh, I didn't talk about eye spacing. So eye spacing is another way you can change the depth. So the further away that your eyes are, so when you're looking at a stereogram, it's kind of like this. You're looking through the image so that your lines of sight are intersecting past the image. And that's how it looks 3D. So you can imagine if the eyes were way further apart, then the effect is kind of just more extreme. So this setting and this setting kind of have similar effects. I've found good results with this, just doing this to be 1/10 or 10% of your width. But you can also mess around with the eye spacing. I don't really touch this one too much, the object distance, but I'm pretty sure object distance and this all are like kind of, it's like kind of turning the same dial but in a different way. Yeah, anyway, if you have any more questions, let me know, I guess. But that's pretty much it.